Hello, welcome to the Crochet and Knitting Podcast. My name is Emily from Crochet Creations. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you. This is episode 18 of my podcast. We are getting close to 20, which is really, really cool. Today in this podcast, I've got a couple of really awesome finished objects to show you. A whole bunch of whips, especially some new ones, as well as way more yarn goodies than I thought I would have. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I just want to say that I am filming this a little bit last minute. We are going on a trip, and I'll talk more about that in the personal section at the very end of the podcast. But because of that, I have a lot less time to edit than I normally do, and so this episode may be either only partially edited, like the first half of it will be edited and the second half won't really be edited, or it'll just be less edited than it normally is. I'm not quite sure. We haven't gotten that far yet. So just giving you a heads up, that's kind of what's going on. So it'll be a little bit different than my regular podcast in the amount of editing, but I wanted to make sure to stay on track and share with you guys what I have been working on before I go on my trip so that I can, after I get back from my trip, talk about what I worked on my trip. It felt right to do that. So we're still going to do this podcast even though I don't have as much time to edit. We'll see how it all goes. I really am so excited that I have a couple of finished objects to show you guys. And first one I will show is what I had on the thumbnail. It is my Peekaboo Maxi skirt. So exciting. I've spent so much time working on this. It's so hard to show on camera because it's even bigger than like a sweater would be. Look at that though, oh my goodness. I'll make sure to pop some pictures up so you can see me wearing it, and it just looks so good. This yarn I used Winnie Jo Fiber Co. in the colorway English Garden, her Squish DK base. It's her DK base, 100% merino DK base. I followed the Peekaboo Maxi Skirt pattern by Knititude or Chantel Miyagashima, and I just did a little bit of changes. I just made sure to knit so that it would at least hit my knee. I did a little bit of playing around with blocking it part way and seeing how much it grew when I blocked it to try to make sure I didn't knit too far because I didn't want it to be too long. I'm kind of short, especially I have short legs, and so I didn't want it to be at an awkward length. I wanted it to kind of end right at my upper calf, and it looks pretty good. I think that it's a little bit longer to this point than I would have liked. If it was like an inch less, I think I would have liked it a little better, but it's still in like a good range. And then the lace section, I shortened it by I think 4 repeats because again I'm short. And then I also shortened the garter stitch section by 4 rows, I think, because I was impatient and wanted to finish. And I thought that the balance of the different textures and like the amount of stitching I did worked out well as it was, and so I decided to just bind off, and so I did that. I did a super stretchy bind off. I used Andrea Mowry's tutorial. I'll leave it linked down below, but she recommends to actually do your bind off on the wrong side of the work, and so that you have a really nice finished edge on the front side of your work. And the way, oh my gosh, I was so frustrated. I tried to do this like 3 or 4 different times, and I did it both on the right side of the work and the wrong side, and it just wasn't working out. What I ended up having to do is the repeat for the pattern ends on a purl row. I ended up having to do 1 more row of knit stitches and then do my bind off on the wrong side, and it worked out perfectly fine. So I think it was just because I was working in garter stitch and I ended on a purl row. It just wasn't looking how I had envisioned with the bind off I chose. So that's what I did differently. So I guess I did like an odd number of rows for the garter stitch section instead of an even number of rows, and I also did a few rows less than I needed to than instructed in the pattern. But so happy with how it turned out. I think it fits great. It fits in really well with my wardrobe. There are many shirts I have that this would fit with, and I'm so excited. I wore it to church on Sunday. I was like down to the wire trying to finish it in time to wear to church, but I knew I wouldn't like it if it wasn't blocked, and so I blocked it Saturday night even though I didn't have a lot of time, and I hung it up on my shower rod in my bathroom with the fan turned on overnight. And it dried in time, so it worked out great. I got to wear it to church, got some cute pictures afterwards, and so happy. I've not ever made a knit skirt before, or knit dress either. I've made a crocheted skirt. I have a pattern, the Sweet Pea skirt as well as the Sweet Pea child skirt. So I have those patterns that I made, but that skirt does not fit me anymore. Definitely not. You can even see in my pattern photos that I have a little baby bump because I'm pregnant with Georgia when I took those photos, and so I've not been able to fit that skirt. So I really needed another skirt, and this fits the bill so well. I enjoyed the pattern. It was very mindless. It's a great pattern to show off this hand-dyed yarn, but I also think that it would be a great pattern to remake again in a different colored yarn, maybe like a solid, something that was more budget friendly, and I could make this skirt multiple times. It felt a little long because there's a lot of stockinette, but if you're in the mood for stockinette, I highly recommend this pattern. It's very simple, very easy to do, size inclusive. It was awesome. So happy I made that. And then I have one other finished object, and this is something I had not even started last time I had my podcast, and that's because I have a pair of socks that I knit during sock week. Ta-da! They're a little bit wrinkly because of how I blocked them. I was not very careful about laying them flat when I was squeezing the water out, so I kind of sprinkled them up. Oops. But they still look good. They still fit well. You probably don't know this yarn. I don't think I've shown this yarn yet. So I decided to join in on Desert Vista Dye Works make along that they have, where you use one skein of yarn every month to knit or crochet an object. Socks, mittens, you could even do a hat, I think. But you get rewarded by doing so you can get coupon codes and even free skeins of yarn by participating. And I didn't want to wait until the beginning of the year to start, and so I decided to just start for the second half of the year. So I got this skein. It is Swimming at the White Sea, and the label is old. Old. Oh, I think I still have it. Normally I throw labels away. But this is my label. I bought it off a D-stash. I just loved the pastel colors. It was so summery to me. So I snagged this skein. I love it. It's so nice. And so I got this skein in the mail right before summer sock camp started, and I decided to just wait a couple days and cast on for summer sock camp, which just finished yesterday. Last year I knit one sock. That sock was the second sock, and so I also, I think, finished or mostly worked on the first sock as well to try to finish that one up. Since that was only my second pair of socks ever that I made, I wanted to set my bar higher and to make a goal of knitting an entire pair of socks this summer sock camp. And I did it! They are shorter as I like them. Not quite shorties, because shorties would be down here. A little bit longer. They do have a 4-inch leg, which is a little bit more than I need for qualifying for the Desert Vista Dye Works Knit Along, Make Along. I tried to make them match, and I think I did a really good job. On the foot somewhere, it lost track a little bit, and so one sock has just a little blip of white at the very tip. It's getting a little blown out, so I'm not sure how well you can see that. I'll show maybe side by side. You can see there's just a little blip of white on one of them. So pretty close to matching, and I am really happy with them. I actually, surprisingly, did not need as much time as I thought I would to knit on these socks. They flew off my needles. I think I finished on Friday. I blocked them, but I didn't work on them at all on Wednesday. Zero. And then Thursday I didn't work on them very much, and that was because I went camping with my daughter, and I'll get to that in the personal section. I guess we have a lot going on personal section wise. I don't normally have a ton of things, but there's a lot going on happening right now in my family. I'm super happy with them. I really love these colors. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and it's just a vanilla sock. I wish they weren't so wrinkly. That's totally my bad. The Fish Lips Kiss heel worked out really well to take 3 stripes in total to finish. And so it worked out really well that I didn't have to do anything different in order to just continue on, and it would just be another stripe when I started working on the foot again. Super happy about those. Super happy that I was able to meet my goal, and maybe next year I will try hard to focus on 3 socks even. I'm not sure. Super proud of myself. Did any of you participate in summer sock camp? I would love to hear if you did, what you made. I love hearing about people's knitting and crocheting goals, so let me know if you participated and how you did for summer. Did I say summer sock camp? Let me know how you did for Sock Week 2022. And that's my FOs. So yeah, 2 things I'm really happy about. One that took me a lot of work, a lot of time, and one that I just pounded out this past week. Awesome. Let's move into my works in progress. Okay, change my positioning a little bit. My back is really hurting today, actually, so I'm going to try to be leaning up against the wall a little bit more to kind of support my back. Don't know what I did. I'm not even 30 yet. My body feels old. But whips, I will show you. Since we're talking about socks, I will keep going on the sock train. So I showed this last time, and I actually don't remember where I was. Not super far, I don't think. But this is my stroll sock for my mom. This is in Stroll Hand Paints in the colorway Hummingbird. Nice long leg. And I'm on the foot. I'm about maybe 20-ish rounds in on the foot. I think I'm doing really well. It's coming along. My mama's foot is just a little bit longer than mine, and when I do a heel flap and gusset, I do 45 rounds on my foot, so I will only need to do a little bit more than that for her. I've got a really good start on the foot, which is nice. If you haven't been here before, what I'm doing, I'm putting together a video where I'm reviewing the different types of sock yarns that Knit Picks has, and my first installment of the video will be all about different stroll yarns. Stroll, stroll tonal, stroll tweed, stroll tonal, stroll tweed, stroll hand paints, all different kinds of stroll that they have to kind of compare and contrast and see kind of what differences I can find and my experience knitting with them and my recommendations for what I would work on in the future. Knit Picks is really budget friendly compared to hand-dyed yarn, and so I like to have kind of a mix. It's so nice to be able to spoil myself with some hand-dyed yarn and to support small businesses, but I also like being able to get high quality yarns from Knit Picks as well. This is coming along. I wish I had put down where I was, somewhere on the leg, I think. So yeah, making some good progress. It's got some really cool micro striping kind of color pooling that obviously got messed up with the gusset, but it's right on track for the foot. So it's just interesting to kind of see how the colors work up, and it's been really fun. I think so far I've enjoyed the stroll tonal yarn the most out of the stroll yarns that I've tried so far, which is very interesting. So keep an eye out for that video if you want to learn more. Another sock that I have, and I've not shown the sock before, I'm so excited. The thing about this design, so I've shown a sock design previously for my red yucca socks, but I stalled out on that. It wasn't working out. I needed to put in time out, take a break. I didn't have a deadline for that, so that can wait. That's okay. This pair of socks, I realized I needed to start working on big time because I wanted them to be available on Granny Square Day, which is August 15th this year, which is coming up quick. And so I realized I have a lot of work to do on these socks if I want them to come out in August. And so I'm working my butt off on these. I'm not sure exactly what I'll call these. Maybe like the Granny Square Love Socks, or like Ode to Granny Squares. I'm not really sure. Something Granny Square related, but they are a crochet and knitting sock pattern, a combo pattern. Ta-da! I am on the gusset right now. I've not had as much time to work on these as I had hoped, and so I really gotta sit down and work on these a lot, but look at that. I am so excited for these. I'm not excited for all of the loose ends I have. Ooh! Okay. We'll hide that away. We'll pretend it doesn't exist. Normally I'm really good about weaving in my ends to like actually finish a project, but for these it might take a really long time. But you'll see I have little itty bitty granny squares that move all the way across just under the cuff. So the cuff is knit, this detail is crochet, then most of the sock will be knit, and then at the very bottom, right before the toes, I'm going to incorporate like a granny stripe, zigzag maybe, like wave stitch type of detail with these same 3 colors to kind of tie it all together and finish off the sock in crochet. I think I'm going to do a crochet toe as well because it would be more sturdy than a knit toe, and so I think it would just fit, just to kind of combine the 2 crafts. So I'm trying to be mindful about what I like about knitting, what I like about crochet, and pulling both elements into this sock. It is coming out August 15th, and I'll be making a call for testers really soon, so keep an eye out on that. I'm going to be working my butt off to try to finish this so I can at least have one sock done for the tester call. I'm going to try to do like a 2 to 3 week deadline for one sock, which is a little bit tight, and so I know not everyone will be able to make that, but to be able to show the world what these would look like, and also to kind of work through the pattern a little bit. And I think I might also talk to a crochet type editor, depending, to kind of make sure the pattern is spick and span. Super fun, really interesting construction. Definitely made me think really hard to figure out how I wanted to do it, but I'm really happy with the result, and I think that it'll be really easy to transfer into a pattern that people would enjoy making, because there's parts that are pretty mindless, like a traditional vanilla sock, with the crochet extra bits that kind of make it a little bit different and make you need to stop and kind of do things differently than you would for a sock. And so I think that's a really fun element to have. Oh, I wish I had more of the sock. It's just like missing a big hole. So that's coming along. By the time my next podcast comes out, it should be done, and testers should already be working on it, which is very exciting. You've seen it first. I have not even revealed it on Instagram yet. Oh, so pretty. I love it. I'm going to try making, maybe I'll try making a pair for Georgia Even with some other scraps. It's great for using minis. I also have another design on my hook, which I was kind of not working on designs for a little bit. I kind of got burned out with my Spilling Wave shawl. I worked really, really hard, a lot of time spent on that, and I just took a little bit of a breather, but now I'm back at it because I have plans for this fall. And I have deadlines. I am going to be participating in a blog hop. I was part of a blog hop this month in July, and I'll make sure to put the links down below, but it was a Christmas in July blog hop, so I had my Feeling Pine dishcloth set as part of this blog hop and bundle, so you can buy all 35 patterns for only $9.99, and when you buy through my link, I get a huge part of that money directly to me, and so that's a great way to support me. Lots of really cute patterns, really wide range of things from like decor to gifts, so really awesome to get you started even for like market makes and whatnot. So I definitely recommend lots of really cool patterns. So if you haven't been able to participate in this blog hop, or you missed something, or you just want to avoid the stress of trying to keep track of going to all the blog hops and getting the coupon codes and whatnot, you can easily get all the patterns. And I don't even know the value of the patterns, but my dishcloth set is a dish towel and dishcloth for $5, and so that's half the price, and you get 34 more patterns for only $5 if you think about it that way. So it's an awesome deal and a great way to support me and other people in the blog hop. So please, please, please consider checking that out. But I'm participating in another blog hop. This one will be in September. I'm doing a blog hop a month for like the next few months, which is really cool to be working with other designers and makers and being involved with their communities. Super cool. This one is really neat because it is sponsored. It is yarn supported by We Crochet. So We Crochet is Knitpic's sister company. They pull from the same products, and they just have a little bit different availability as well as a different shipping cost, which is nice. Usually you can get an order for We Crochet with a smaller free shipping threshold, which is really nice. So I'm going to make a dishcloth. This is going to be the Falling Leaves dishcloth using We Crochet Dishy. This is what I've got so far. This is just my bottom panel. All the fall colors. Ah! Okay, so if I can remember, this bottom one is Fiesta, and then Sunbaked is the orange. The yellow, I don't know what the yellow is, I'm sorry. The brown is mushroom, and then this tan is linen. So those are my colors, and what I'm doing is I'm having these stripes on either end of the dish towel, and then I'm going to have the linen in the middle, and all throughout the middle I'm going to have little leaf motifs that you sew on. Sorry, I lost a leaf. I'm going to have little leaf motifs that you can sew on to kind of add the falling leaves type of effect in all of the other colors that are not linen, because there are just so many changing colors with the leaves. So I wanted to use the entire palette. So I've got 3 different designs here. I've got this one that's like an oak leaf. Here, yeah, You can kind of see that a little better. Like an oak leaf style. This one is, I don't even know, just a boring round leaf. I'm trying to see if there's a good way to like show. Yeah. And then this one is going to be a maple leaf, and I think I'm still working on this one specifically. I feel like it's not quite right. I need to do a little bit more shaping, I think. But something kind of similar to this. So I'll be doing these 3 leaf motifs within the pattern that'll go on the dishcloth. So that's for one blog hop that I'm doing. I'll talk more about that when we get there. It's nice that there's like this mindless part that I can work on, as I've tried to also balance with figuring out how to make these leaves. And so now that I've got it mostly figured out, I can start making the leaves when I get a chance, and then when I really need a mind break, I can just go back to this. But tester call for this is also coming out like within the next week or so. So by the time this podcast is up, I may have it posted. I'm not sure. Same thing with the crochet socks. Pretty soon after I post this podcast episode, I'll have those pattern test calls open. So definitely make sure to check me out on my Instagram if you're interested. And there's also a link down below to be part of my newsletter list that will be notified when I have these tester calls put out into the world. You can be notified of those testing calls and apply if you are so interested. Whew, that's a lot. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I talked socks, which kind of led me into designs. Now I want to show my Find Your Fade. I have made some progress and I'm really happy. I'm slowly but surely making some progress. Not as far as I had hoped, but I also spent tons and tons of time on my skirt. So that is okay. But I have finished the garter section I was working on. Yay! And I did exactly 1 row of lace. So it's coming along. Once I finish this lace section, then I will get to the section where I transition into the darkest color, which is Videri. And that will be kind of my middle point of the shawl. So I'm almost halfway through. This shawl's taken a long time. I think I just don't like garter stitch. Is that an unpopular opinion? I feel like everyone loves garter stitch, but I hate it. I would rather knit 1 row, purl 1 row in like going back and forth so that it's stocking it flat. I'm not kidding, because I feel like working into garter stitch, the stitches are just harder to work into. They take me long. I don't know. Let me know if that's weird or not, but I've not enjoyed garter stitch. I think that's what I'm learning. So, gotta find more shawls that don't have as much garter stitch, I guess. But I'm making progress on it. I am considering bringing this on a trip that we are going on this week, because I feel like that would force me to get a lot of work done on it. Because it would be really nice to finish this, move on to other things on my Make 9 list. I have other things on my Make 9 list that I should try to get to. I did do a video recently where I went through all my Make 9 lists, all 3 of them, Gifts Make 9 list, Stash Make 9 list, and Regular Make 9 list, and talked about my progress thus far in the year. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that up above as well. So kind of interesting to look at my goals halfway through the year and see how I'm doing, and if there's anything I need to change or anything that I am learning through the process. So definitely still some things I want to make. So I need to get a move on this, because I just need to get this done, and I'm sure I will love it, but it's definitely a product knit, not a process knit. I'm not really enjoying the process, so that's why it's going very, very slowly. I don't hate it, but there's so many things I would rather make. I have 2 things that I've just barely started that I want to show you. I think last time I knit a swatch for the Soufflé by Laura Penrose Knits, and this is really pathetic. Why am I showing this on the podcast? I have knit 2 rows. Why am I showing this? Because you'll see more of it, I'm sure, coming up. But yeah, it's not so pretty. You can like barely see, but you can see like the colors. It's so soft and squishy. I'm really excited to see how this will work up. I am holding my mohair double on top, which is different from the pattern. The pattern holds 1 strand of mohair until the ruffle, and then below the ruffle it's 2 strands so that it's more sheer on top, but I don't want that look, so I'm holding double throughout. So I have more yarn than is called for in the pattern, and we will see how it all works up. I'm excited. This, though, because it's only mohair, I don't want to touch it when I'm really hot. And it's been warm, and we don't have air conditioning in my apartment. So I have only been working on this very sparingly. Whenever it's like really cool in the evening and it's just like a cozier night, I pulled this out and I worked on it. So I think that's kind of what it'll be like until the weather really cools down later on in the year. It'll be a slowly but surely type of project because I am excited to see how this works up, and it's been fun to work on. Definitely like a slow, mindful, cozy type of knit. And then the last project I have that I casted it on? I did 2 gauge swatches and I found my gauge. So I would say that that counts because that counted for my souffle last podcast. So I have casted on, I guess, maybe I'll show you my swatch because that's what I got. So this is for the Moonglade dress by Roro and Cades. I'm going to be making this for my daughter out of Ching Fiber singles base in the colorway Flaminglet. So it's got this pretty, it's like yellow, pinky, peachy, a little bit of like really light brown. I've enjoyed working on this so far, and I swatched with the recommended needles, which is like a 3.5, and I got like 23 stitches when I needed 28. So way huge. I switched all the way down to a size 2 needle, and that got me to where I needed to be 28 stitches. So I'm on my little mini sock needles and my little mini sock cord because I don't have a size 2 that's not for knitting socks. It is what it is. And at least I have a long enough cord for like magic loops, so it'll work out okay. But that means I have one less sock that I can have on my needles, which is kind of a bummer. So you should see more progress on this. Maybe I'll take this on my trip. I'm not sure. I really need to figure that out though, because tomorrow was our big packing day. So by the time you see this video, we'll already be on our trip, so you won't be able to actually tell me what I should pack. Oh man, I've been really bad about saying what yarns I'm using, so I apologize. I was using just some scraps from my granny square sock. The bear was Stroll Bear, like their bear undyed colorway. For my Find Your Fade, it's in Sorella yarn, they're fall tonals. And I have all of this in the description, so you don't ever have to pay attention to what I'm saying. You could just look it up down below. So I try to help you out because I know that I am not perfect either. For my souffle, I'm using Knit Picks Aloft hand paints in the color Soul. It's in mohair base. And I think that it was like they were discontinuing their hand painted mohairs, and so I got this for a nice sale, which is nice. I think that's everything. That's everything that I have started. All of my whips currently. I have a lot more yarn goodies than I thought I would have to show you. A little bit unexpected, but I've got them all set up over here. And I'm going to go through them pretty quick because I don't want to have to edit a super long video. First, I want to show you so soft and squishy. This is the one of a kind that my friend Jessica of JS Threads dyed for the Summer Dreams knit along. It's on a sparkle base. See that little sparkle base? It's so beautiful. It's a pastel dream. It's like unicorn and a sock skein. I love it. And it's so soft. Like, oh my goodness. They might be socks. They might be a hat. That would be pretty cute. I'm not sure what to make out of this. They could be a pretty cowl. I don't know. It's a special skein. I'm so glad I have it. So grateful for Jessica for sending it my way. We did host this knit along together, and so she sent me this prize, and I sent her some stitch markers that I made for the prize package as well, so we got to do a little swap too. And then I got some happy mail yesterday, which is part of the reason why I didn't film yesterday, because I wanted to wait till my mail came, and the mail comes at like 6 p.m. So I had to wait for the mailman. I got, this is Treehouse Knits from her, Stars Hollow collection? That sounds right. Stars Hollow collection. I don't watch Stars Hollow, but I just love this color. This colorway is called I'll Make the Cookies on her Sequoia sock base. So beautiful. I love this color. And I love Lauren's dyeing style. I got some of her Cocoa minis Love them. Love them. This is beautiful. I would have gotten a whole sweater quantity of this if I felt like that was a responsible thing to do, but I held back. And then I also got, I brought another skein out to show you, but I got a skein of Mezzo Makes Fiber, her Soprano sock base. Again, I'm all about socks. I got lots of sock skeins, but you can use them for other things too. My intention is socks. This is 90s Taco Throwback. And this is her colorway. It got a little bit squished in the mail. But this is her colorway based on Taco Bell in the 90s. And it is intended to be a perfect pairing for Having a Blast, which is her Baja Blast colorway. So you'll see, it's a little hard to see in this game, but there's the Baja Blast right there in it. I already bought this skein when she did her Taco Bell Mystery Club, and this is the only one I did. She told us what the inspiration was, and I knew I wanted to have a skein of Baja Blast. And then when she did her collection with all of her colors, I made sure to buy this so that they would pair together. And I think they'll pair together nicely. There's a lot of shades of this teal showing up right now, but there's definitely this like vibrant, yeah, right there. I'm excited to see how they work up together. Will be a super fun pair of socks. And then I got a massive Knit Picks order because when your shipping threshold is like $65 in order to get free shipping, you gotta get to the free shipping. And so I just kind of accumulated things in my cart until I could do that. And so what I ended up doing, I'll share with you. It's a little hard to see this color, but I got a sweater's quantity of Wool of the Andes in Delft Heather. So it's like a navy blue, but it's like a little bit more blue and less black than a navy blue is normally. I think it's because it's heathered, and so it's got a little bit more lighter tones in it too. It's really hard in this lighting to see. Maybe if I put it next to something black, you can see. It's a navy, but it's like a lighter navy. So I got this for my husband so that I can make, oh, I talked about it last time. So I can make Viking, which is a cardigan by Martin Story that is only found in Rowan magazine issue 52. So I got a sweater's quantity of that. It's Peruvian Highland wool. So it's a little bit toothier, a little bit more rustic. So I think it'll make a really good, more rustic cardigan for him. That's a Christmas present for him that I'll be making. So I'll be starting that fairly soon, probably in September is my hope. And then I got lots of sock yarn. Like I had mentioned earlier, I'm doing kind of a review and going to try different sock yarns from different retailers. I already have a video where I tried out sock yarns from Michaels. I'll make sure to link that up above. But I am working through Knit Picks yarn, and I figured I would buy the things that are most on sale right now for their summer sale. And I'll make sure to link them down below. I am an affiliate with them, and so at no cost to you, I get a commission when you buy things through my link, which is really another great way to support me. Buy things that you already would buy, but using my link, you can help me. And so I bought a bunch of yarn for socks from them for the future, for whenever I do this. These are all Hawthorne skeins from different types of the Hawthorne yarn. I've got, let's see, this is Daphne Kettle Dye. This is Woodstock, Hawthorne Multi. And then this one is Hood River Tonal. So those three were all on super sale, so I made sure to grab them. I also grabbed a skein of Chroma because I saw it was, this colorway is called Shortcake, but I saw that it was super sale, like 60% off or something. And it's a 70% merino, 30% nylon, and so I thought it would work for socks, and it comes in the mail, and it's a single ply yarn. Did not expect that, and so that will be interesting to see how that works up and how sturdy that is. As far as socks go, my expectation is that this isn't necessarily great for socks because it's single ply. I think it'll pill more, but we shall see. I think knitting it together will add more strength for sure. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. My last little bit from my Knit Picks haul is I finally got myself some Felici, which is a 75-25 merino and a nylon blend. Knit Picks just came out with Felici colors that are single colors that are not striped, that you could use as like heels, toes, cuffs, contrast, which is a really cool idea. And it even says within the listings, this color would look great with X, Y, and Z from this collection, which is really cool. So I can match these together. This one is called Lassie. Again, bright, summery, but also like pastel-y, not super like vibrant. And then this one is called Brittle. My intent is to pair these together. I only got one skein of each because I'm going to make shorty socks. And so with probably heels and toes in this, and then the rest of the sock in this, super like actual shorties, like just above the heel shorties, I think that this will work just fine. So that's my Knit Picks haul. Lots and lots of skeins for that. Some things you'll probably see in not too long. And then I shopped from a couple small businesses for some notions I want to share. My phone is dying, and so I'm trying really hard to like get through this. I shopped Deli Dino, and they took a really long break from making polymer clay charms. So beautiful, like such artistry. Here's some avocado toast with egg because that's how I like to eat my avocado toast. And some guacamole. So cute. I was very disappointed though because this is the first time I've ever been cart jacked in my life. When I put something in my cart for pre-order and went to check out, and then it was gone before I could pay. And the reason was because I was using the Etsy app and it was not loading the listings, and so I was not able to get on right when the release happened, and so I was kind of behind. Next time, I'm going to use my computer so that I can check out fast, because I missed out on like 3 or 4 different designs that I'd been waiting on for like a year. And then when the artist, Alessi, announced that they were going to be making charms again, I was like waiting again and waiting, and then I couldn't get them. So really sad, but I do really like these ones. The amount of detail is the most I've ever seen in a polymer clay charm. They're really beautiful. So I'm really happy about these ones, even though it was really bitter that these are all that I could get because everything that I put in my cart was gone. And then I shopped Firefly Notes. This is their like little sticker. I got a couple Notions tins from them because I really like the little itty bitty Notions tin I have in my sock bag, but it was really beat up. I might have to replace it soon, so I knew I needed more tins, and I would like some of these in other bags so I didn't have to swap as much, and I also could just keep a couple things in my little sock one for what I need for socks, and then I could put more things in these bigger tins. Super nice quality, super nice. And there's like a design on here and like a resin cover. This one is Cuts of Lamb. So cute. And it's like the different parts. So there's like sock yarn comes from here and cowls. And oh, it's so cute. And then I got this one that's crow themed. Shiny things. And I also got, let me find them. I also got a set of stitch markers from that same person that has like, there's like a little crow and a little like gem type thing and some black light bulb stitch markers. And I got some from my mom to share with her. So that's a little gift I'll be sending her way sometime soon. Maybe I'll just save it for Christmas. I don't know. It depends on when I think of shipping it out to her. They're a little bigger than I thought, but these are big enough that I can put in like a really small pair of scissors even, keep it literally all together. I like to be very organized, and Crochet Creations, so I had to get the crow one. So now it's time to just talk about some life stuff and some chit chat on kind of what I think is coming next. So since the last podcast, I was solo parenting since my husband was out of town, and it actually went way better than I thought it would. I think it's just sometimes you have a hard day with your kids or child, because I only have one. And I just was envisioning that I would have all hard days with her. Like the worst case scenario is every day is a hard day with her, and I don't have any way to escape that because I'm the only parent. I can't get out of the house and have someone else watch her, really. So I was just worried about that, but she did great. And oh no, it's the garbage truck. I think the garbage truck is far away enough that you can hear me okay. We are joined by my cat, Alfred. What was I saying? Georgia did really well, and we were really happy to have my husband home I could have survived a little bit longer than he was gone, but I'm glad that he was able to come home after just, I think, 3.5 days, 4 days. So not a super long trip. It worked out all right. And then, let's see. Oh, we went camping. My daughter and I went camping together for the first time. She's never been camping before. My friend invited us to go with them on a last minute thing. They got a last minute invite, and so they were trying to find someone to go with so that it would be worth it. So my friend and her little boy, who's Georgia's age, and then me and Georgia all went together. We went to Kirby Cove, which is right near the northern side of the Golden Gate Bridge. So beautiful scenery. It was honestly stunning out there, and it was a learning experience. Very stressful. Had a hard time. I had a hard time. In general, we just kind of had a hard time, but I learned some things that I'll take with me for next time we go camping. So, number 1, traffic. It was worse than I thought it would be, and because I had to stop for firewood and stuff, I ended up getting in later than I thought. We were miserable from the long drive ending up even longer, and so that just made it hard. Didn't give a lot of leeway for when I got to camp. I had to set up so that I could have everything ready to go before it got dark. That was just really hard for Georgia because after a really long drive, she just needed mom, but mom wasn't available really. Like, she could be with me, but she wasn't happy just being near me. She needed to be held by me and comforted and kind of oriented to the campsite by me, and I just couldn't do that because we didn't have the time, and I didn't have the extra hands. Like, I couldn't have Dad set up camp while I console her, and so that was really hard for her, and I was stressed out trying to get things taken care of, and it all worked out. It was colder than I thought, so that's another thing. Temperature wise, I knew what it would be, but I did not anticipate how windy it is, and I should have known because, right near San Francisco, it's just windy and cold with pulling in the ocean air. I did not pack as much warm things for myself as I should have, and so it worked out okay, but wish we were a little bit better prepared. And then overnight, Georgia was up for like 2 hours, from like 12 to 2 in the middle of the night, and it was so bright because it was a full moon, and so she wanted to go outside and play, and I was like, Georgia, it's like 1 in the morning. We can't go outside and play. So she had a really hard time understanding to go back to bed. So she started in the pack and play, and then woke up, strict environment, wanted me, and then realized, oh, it's kind of light out. We should stay awake. And so we had to read stories, get a drink, get a snack, snuggle a bit, move around a bit. She finally just fell asleep, exhausted, in the sleeping bag with me, and slept like 3 or 4 more hours. So we made it through the night. We weren't too cold overnight, which is nice. It was really cold that morning. So a couple hard things, but by then she was kind of getting used to it. We went to the ocean because it was really close to our campsite, and so we got to spend lots of time on the beach, playing in the sand, collecting little beautiful stones and whatnot, and so that helped Georgia feel more comfortable because she loves the beach. So we did that and got to spend some time with our friend and just walking around the campsite area and exploring. And so by the time we left, she was sad to leave because she had finally gotten used to it. So I guess that's one other thing that I learned. And she's 20 months old. 21 months? She's turning 2 in October. I think more time to get her acquainted with the area and to also like spend in the area would have helped her a lot. It would have been a much better experience if we had spent a few days there, I think, because she would have really felt comfortable. Because she does acclimate pretty well to changes, but it was a big change, and it was a lot of change, and Mom wasn't as available emotionally for her because I had things to do to set up camp and to take down camp when that needed to happen too. All lessons learned, and in general, ended up being an alright experience, but we were exhausted. So it was only a one-night thing, but I'm glad I went. Definitely learned a lot for that experience, and I don't think I'm gonna go camping without my husband again for a long time. He has to come. So we did that. That was quite the adventure. I have mentioned that we are going on a trip soon. We are driving down to St. George area. We're gonna spend some time near Zion's. My husband's family is from Utah, And so they're doing a really big family reunion on his dad's side of the family out near there. And so we're going to drive down with my husband's Jeep so that he can go Jeeping while he's out there, because there's all sorts of trails and whatnot in southern Utah. Great place for adventuring. That's one of the big things I miss about Utah, is just the different places that were there. I really enjoyed going out and hiking and whatnot. So I'm excited to go. We're going to spend a couple of days there and then drive back. So not a lot of time there, but it'll be a good escape. So I need to figure out what projects to bring. And this is our first road trip with Georgia since we moved out here. So I hope it goes well. Her needs right now are very different than they were a year ago. So I hope I can keep her entertained. So that's kind of what's going on with us, like, in our life, I guess. As far as projects coming up, I've got a couple of things I just recently started or only did a gauge swatch for, so those are coming up. I also have set aside some sock yarns for like my socks that are in my queue right now for when I have needles available. That's the sad part. I don't have needles available. And I've got a video on socks I intend to make for summer sock camp, and all of these socks will be talked about in that video, so make sure to check that out. But I've got some Explore Knits and Fibers in Moonstone and Untamed for a pair of July socks by Laura Moritz. Beautiful pastels. I'm so excited for that. I've got this Stroll tonal yarn in the colorway Train Station, just like a black and gray tonal. This will be for my brother. So his socks are next after I finish my mom's socks. My mom's sock, because I'll finish the pairs later. I'll do one sock at a time just to make sure I hit everybody for that video, and then I'll finish the other halves of those socks in my own time. And then last but not least is a sock for my husband. This is the yarn I'll be using. This is Sorella yarn cardigan. I have leftovers from multiple socks now. This is the tonal that goes with, this is Faraway Lands. This is Woolberry Fiber, their sock set, so I can't remember, it didn't have the tonal labeled. But I'm going to be making a pair of Fox's Day Out socks by Stone Knits, and I'm going to be doing them a little differently. I'm going to do shorties because that's all my husband wants. So I'm going to be doing just a little bit of cuff and then heel. So what I'm going to do is right after the heel is, I'll probably just do a fish lips kiss heel, honestly, because I think it's a short row heel. So after the heel, I'm going to do the tree and fox motif that's on the pattern. I'm going to do a white fox and some like golden trees, because my husband likes Arctic foxes more than regular foxes, even though he loves foxes just in general. So this is what I'm going to do, and after I do that motif, I'll just do whatever is left on the foot in that freckly dotted texture. I have to look at the pattern again, but I'll start these soon. I want to start them before August, so that I have plenty of time to finish them. My husband's birthday is August 31st, so I have all month to work on those, but I'd like to start them sometime in July. Again, I need sock needles free. I didn't think I had that few of sock needles, but I don't know where they all went. Where did they go? I might need another pair. Those are kind of like what's on the mind. I've got, yeah, a few more garments, a few socks, and a few designs that are coming up. I need to get a better handle on what I'm going to do for the rest of the year. I'm really in the fall mood right now, which is great for like a designing sense, but I don't want to touch projects with mohair or like cozy fall knits that are like really heavy and bulky. So maybe I can squeeze in one more summer knit. I've got the dress for my daughter, which is like a summer knit, but for her. So I'm not sure if I'll do something else. I just applied for 3 different pattern tests, so we'll see, I guess, if I hear back from any of those, because that would be my priority for the rest of the summer, is working on a pattern test. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it depends on kind of what I want to bring with me on our trip and what happens on that trip with what I have left. So let me know what you're working on down below. I'd love to hear from you on like what projects you're working on, especially if you're working on anything I am or have any suggestions for me. I just love chatting with you down below. Again, that pattern bundle as well as the link to the blog post for the blog hop that's for the rest of July is down below, so you can find that there, as well as all the other links and information is in the description box. So if I forgot anything or if you just missed it while I was talking, you can find it down below. And now there's airplanes overhead, so I'm gonna try to finish this up. So thank you so much for being here. If you like this type of content, I've got a whole playlist of podcasts, and I would love to see you back again for a future video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. I publish a video most Fridays and occasional Tuesdays as well if I have extra content to share. I share all sorts of things from podcasts, sharing what I'm working on, to project vlogs and day in the life vlogs and different inspiration and sharing of patterns and ideas and even some tutorials. If any of that sounds like things you're interested in, then I would love to have you here on this little Yarnie journey. Until next time, happy making! Bye!